Hey guys, so welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm here in the Algarve on Praia Nossa Senhora da Rocha, and it's an incredibly beautiful beach. The sun is shining, it's really hot, and the water's got that lovely blue turquoise color to it, and these golden cliffs are really beautiful. But I did actually paint on this beach about 4 years ago, last time I was here, and I've been told about this small tunnel just behind me in the rocks, which will actually take us to another beach. So I have never seen the other beach, but I have heard good things about it. So let's go through this little tunnel and hopefully find a good painting spot on the other side. That's quite nice, being away from the noise of the other beach. So yeah, it's getting pretty dark in here, but I can see the light on the other side now. Just up ahead. And the ceiling is gradually getting lower and lower as starting to duck quite a bit. May have to crawl out the other side. Yeah. Get it through. Wow. Yeah, this beach, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. The light hitting these golden cliffs, the blue sea. Oh, this is going to make an awesome painting, I think. So yeah, I'm going to set up. I may go for a swim first, actually, because the water just looks so inviting, and then we'll start painting the landscape. So remember, please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. It helps out the channel. And yeah, let's maybe go for a quick swim and then start painting. So actually, once you're in, it does feel pretty good. Swimming in the cold water. It's great for your body, your muscles, recovering your joints, things like that. So, yeah. Let's go back to shore and let's start this painting. Cool. So that was nice. Now let's go back, set up, and then start painting.
From where I've set up, I can see the cliffs stretching out along the bay and the sea looking unbelievably inviting, and it's the sort of view which is perfect for plein air painting. It's full of sunlight, warmth and life. I begin by toning my canvas with raw umber, creating a warm yellow-brown ground. This helps set the overall tone of warmth and stops the white from being too stark against the initial layers of paint, which could throw off my values. I'm now sketching in the main elements of my painting using raw umber paint, the background and the midground cliffs, the line of the sea on the horizon, and the gentle curve of the shoreline leading the viewer's eyes from the foreground back into those golden cliffs which are so iconic of the Algarve. And I've placed the horizon about 1/3 from the top, leaving plenty of space for the cliffs and the sea, and that wide stretch of sandy beach below. I'm now sketching in the sky, and this helps to anchor the key of the value scale for the rest of the painting. And closer to the horizon, the colour is lighter and warmer. I use a colour mix of titanium white, cobalt blue, yellow ochre, and a small touch of alizarin crimson. And as I move upward, the tone cools down and deepens, and for this I use titanium white, ultramarine blue, and cobalt blue. And to create this gradation in hue, I blend the two colours together on my palette first, and then paint this soft transition between them on the canvas. I'm now painting the sea. On the horizon it has a deeper blue. I'm using a colour mix of ultramarine blue with a small touch of titanium white. And as the sea moves downward toward the shore, I add more titanium white, cobalt blue, and a little bit of cadmium yellow, which gives that lighter, greener hue where the sunlight hits the shallower water. And here I'm just painting the white froth of the waves breaking against the beach. And I will come back to this area again later on and work it in a bit more detail. Next I turn to the cliffs. For the shadow planes, I use a colour mix of cobalt blue, yellow ochre, alizarin crimson, and a small touch of titanium white. And this creates a cool, neutral tone that still feels full of light. And I vary the hues within the shadow, adding more blue where the surfaces catch the reflected light from the sky or reflected light from the blue sea, and also more yellow where the warmth of the sand bounces upward or bounce light is getting received from other parts of the rocks within the cliff face. I make sure to keep the light and shadow mixes separate on the palette, and this is essential for maintaining the clarity of the sunlight, as once these mixes start to mingle, you'll lose that tonal contrast that makes outdoor light so convincing. For the sections of the cliffs which are getting lit by the sunlight, I switch to a warmer mix using titanium white with small touches of yellow ochre and cadmium red to create a light golden colour mix, and this colour really defines the cliffs along the Algarve. In the foreground I add a bright umbrella that's full of colour, a yellowish green, pink, orange and blue. And it gives the composition a burst of colour and adds some nice visual interest to the bottom right section of my painting, and it also adds that warm summer holiday vibe. Underneath it are two women sunbathing, and they were tourists from Germany, and they were actually sitting very still, and they were really happy to be included in the painting. To paint these two women in the foreground, I start by mixing a colour for the shadow tones of their skin, a combination of raw umber, cadmium red, yellow ochre, and just a small touch of ultramarine blue and titanium white. And this gives a warm, natural shadow colour that still feels part of the sunlit environment. Once the shadow shapes are in, I paint their swimsuits, and I keep the colours simple and harmonious with the rest of the scene. Finally, I add the light areas of their skin, using a colour mix of titanium white with a touch of yellow ochre. And these light strokes are applied sparingly, just enough to catch the warmth of the sunlight on their shoulders and legs. But these figures really do bring a real sense of life and scale to the painting, and a reminder of the warmth of the day and the simple pleasure of being by the sea. Further back I had a blue umbrella and a few small figures. As I paint the umbrella, it's good to think of where the light is hitting the scene. So the right hand side is darkest, as the light in the scene is coming from the left, so any of the sections of the umbrella which are perpendicular to the sun are going to be a much brighter blue. So I actually mix slightly different blue variations for each section of the umbrella. Here I'm painting the sunlight glistening on the sea, and to do this I'm using a colour mix of titanium white with a touch of cadmium yellow, and I've thickly loaded this onto a fine brush, and I'm just tapping in those tiny highlights that create this sparkle across the surface. And by now the light has changed quite a lot and the sea looks even more tempting for a swim, but I resist just long enough to finish the painting. And I'm now adding a few people walking along the shoreline and swimming in the sea.
So I finished this painting here in the Algarve, and it's so hot the sand is actually burning my feet. So before I pack up and clean down, I'm going to go and have a quick swim in the sea just to cool off. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll see you in another video here in the Algarve.